Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to Matty J Plays, and welcome back to a quick video just updating you on where I am with my player these days. If you watch my videos, you know I've been tinkering with a lot of stuff over the last few months, and a couple of my subs asked me to do a what's in my bag type video, so I thought I'd just talk you through my setup, my thinking, and how I play. So whilst I have dabbled in the Powerhouse and I think the Woodsman over the last 9 months since I did my last what's in the bag video, I can't move away from rhythm. It's the best setup for me. I like to focus on timing and swing paths, surely, mainly for my short play. So, you know, on the approach, I'd rather have timing and swing path in play. You do suffer on power and transition. I do a whole skills video talking you through what each of those mean, guys, so please feel free to check that out. But certainly, I prefer to have timing and swing path prioritized in my setup. That's just the way I am, because my swing path and timing is awful. If I just quickly touch on a couple of things in my skills, because I'm prioritizing my swing path and my timing, I tend to focus my skills on flight or power in the driver section. So I got maxed out level on the power one, so that's those two. Between the two, they add, I think, between 10 to 12 yards to your shot. So my standard power is 288. I think they used to take me up to over 300, but I think they've curved it a little. They take me up to around 298 at maximum power now. Which is still a 300 yard plus drive, so I'll take that. The others then, on this end, when I tend to focus on transition, again, because I'm missing transition in a lot of my clubs, so I put transition on my irons and my wedges because I have a low transition. So what I would say is whatever archetype you pick the skills that bring up the lesser areas. You won't necessarily see them when you apply your fittings, etc., but they do massively help while you're out there. So like I say, I've got additional power in here and additional transition in here. I got a timing one for my woods, and again I just play a couple of the normal stuff. I think I just do timing. I think it's all timing here. Transition, yeah, and a transition one. Don't have anything in hybrid, guys, because I don't have a hybrid club in my bag. We'll talk about that in a minute. My irons again are just transition, and I think there's a power boost one on there as well, so that's quite handy because it knocks my irons, which max out at a 5 iron at 192, 193, and a 3 iron I use now at 214. But when you put this power boost on and you actually achieve it and activate it, they jump up massively by about 10 yards. So if you want a big jump in your irons, use that. And again, wedges, I just focus on transition where needed, and the power again, because if my irons shift, I want my wedges to shift with them. So both of these are activated by the same thing. So I'm really useful there. Not by the same thing, that's a lie. That's score 2 birdies, that's hitting 2 fairways. But once they're on, you're in a better place. And then putter, guys, what I tend to do on here is focus on the putt path and putt path and putt weight. So I've got all of these activated. Putters where I put a lot of focus. The one I don't leave, and I'd recommend you all leave alone, the only other thing I want to touch on in here is the roll boost. This skill actually increases the speed of the greens. Don't know why on earth you'd want to do that. So it'll move like a 155 to 160, whatever, 63 or whatever it is. It just boosts the speed of the greens, which just seems a madness skill to me. Anyway, there's a quick view of my skills and my rhythm, my archetype. If we just look at my locker then, guys, as I said, I've been tinkering a lot and I've landed on this setup. So as I said, I don't have any hybrids in the bag. I have a driver, a 3 wood, a 5 wood, a 3 iron then. So I got 3 clubs above 250 yards. So you can see my driver's 288. I got 253, a 231 and a 213. My only biggest gap is really between the 213 and the 191 for the 5 iron. 5 iron and 3 iron. I don't have a 4 iron there, so I try to just make that up with loft and de-loft. It's the best place to have a gap, and also this 5 iron, when I get my my power boost on, when I get that turned on, it actually jumps up to 200 plus as well. So I have 4 clubs above the 200 plus line, which seems to be enough for me. The rest of them then are all standard gaps, so we go 5 iron down to 9 iron. You'll see the gaps: 190, 180, 170, 160, 150. Pitching wedge is just below 140. Then a gap wedge 125, so 13 yards there. 112, 13 yards there. and 97 that is actually on the course, not 96, and that's 111 I think. So again, I tried to keep between 10 and 15 yardage between each club. Most of them are 10, and it's a pretty good setup. If you watch my videos, you know I play quite well. If I just show you them in this view, you can see the yardage a little bit clearer. So there's a 30-yard gap there, 20-yard gap there, 20-yard gap there, 20-yard gap there. So it goes 30, 20, 20, 20, 20, then 10, 10, 10, 10, 12, 13, 13, 13, 14, 15, 15, because that's 197, that's 97, not 197. You can also see I have all my red legendary fittings on. So what I've done is, obviously the driver and the woods, I need to get some power up. So I've got a power fitting on them, I've got a live fitting, and I got a swing timing. You'll notice I have swing timing pretty much on every club, 2 on the wedges. So I want to max that out, and I will take you through all my individual club makeups. But yeah, I put the extra power in the driver and the woods, and the rest of it then is swing path and timing. You'll see all my irons have a swing path and timing and lie. And then my wedges have both all timing and a power. So let's get into it. Let's have a little look at my fittings then. So if you move to my driver, this is the setup I have picked. So you'll see I've put a power one on there that gives me plus 12 in the power. I got a lie range on there which also adds power, guys, so, and swing path, which is pretty useful. And then I got a timing one on there which obviously increases my timing. You can see on my driver I've got everything between 77 and 94 bar my transition. I haven't really focused on transition. It is quite useful. That's the transition is the white. So if you have the swing bar on and you see the 100% power, where you have to stop the top of your swing to get 100% power, and that's when you transition to your downswing. That transition box grows the higher the transition you have, so you have more chance of getting 100% power. It also, though, weirdly does help with your timing, because it stops the timing line shrinking. So you see, once you go past the 100% power, your box shrinks for you to get a perfect. So it does actually help timing, but because my timing is so high, I can sacrifice a little in transition. So I've done that on every setup, on every club. So you'll see it's in the 60s, I think, on every single club in my bag transition. It's the one I've had to sacrifice to get pretty high, nearly 80 to 90 on everything else. So that's my driver setup. This is my wood. So again, if you look, this is one of the better setups I have of all my clubs. I haven't been able to manage this anywhere else. There's not a single one below 70. You'll notice though, there's none in the 90s. But it is quite a nice, comfortable setup. I've not really changed my wood from this in a while. You see the power's obviously quite high. My timing and my swing path are still close to 90. Transition's up there, shaping's there, and lie range is there. So that's my woods, and I play with a 3 and a 5 wood in my bag, both with exactly the same setups, as you can see. I do not use the hybrids, guys, so I'll skip past there. My irons are all set at the same. I did dabble in changing them a few. I did swap out my 3 and 4 iron. They've been doing yoki koki for a bit. But I've landed on, as I said, that 20-yard gap between the 3 and the 5 iron. It works best for me. As you can see, there's no power added here, guys, so power and transition stays super low. This is for my super accurate approach game that I try to play. My timing, my swing path, I really put credence on here, because, well, as you may see from my swings, they're a little bit erratic at times. My swing line's not great, so that's what swing path affects, and my timing obviously helps me get closer to that perfect line, which is what I want. I say I'm happy with slight fast or slight slows or perfects. So I prioritize that. Your irons, obviously, the clubs you're going to be using most into greens, and your wedges. So you'll notice that both of them have prioritized timing and swing path. So power and transition take a hit here. Shaping and lie range, pretty strong. Likewise with my wedges, you'll see again, power and transition are the ones that have taken a hit. My timing and my swing path are up in the 90s, so too my shaping and my lie. That's just because I like to just keep things relatively simple. So these haven't changed for a while, my setups. As I said, I did dabble a lot in my irons. I did put extra power on them. I just didn't like it. I dropped back down to the 65. It's comfortable. You can see time in 100, time in 99, swing path 95, swing path 94. I mean, it's pretty solid. But also what I like, guys, and what you'll notice between these two setups, there's not a lot of difference between my irons and my wedges. So my swing feels very similar. So as I said, 100 time in, 99 time in, 94 swing path, 95 swing path. Power is 65 and 66, transition is 67 and 68. Shaping's a little bit different between the two, so my irons have better shaping, my wedges have better lie range. That's because I needed to prioritize that when in the rough, because I do sometimes miss a green. But there we go, guys. That is my what's in my bag. That's what I've done. It's for my setup, for my personal way of playing. You can play this any way you want. What I would say is, a lot of people say the way they do it is they'll pick an archetype, so they'll pick power, then they'll put a load of timing ones on, so maybe 3 timing ones on to get their timing up and swing path. But if you wanted timing or swing path, why don't you just pick a character with timing or swing path? I like to lean in to the attributes I've chosen. So I've chose rhythm. Rhythm is all about timing and swing path. So as you can see, I've got 2 timing attributes on there. I have a swing path and a timing attribute on there. I'll have a timing attribute on the wood. I'll have a timing attribute on the driver. So I lean into my build, as opposed to some people try to average out their builds. Different strokes for different folks. It seems to work for me. If you've been watching my videos, I do all right. And also, let's go into the last club in the bag, the putter. This hasn't really changed since day dot. I think I got these 3, my first 3 legendary fittings, and I haven't bothered with any of these others. You can see I've got loads of legendary fittings now, but I haven't changed it. I always prioritize putt path because I always have a push left or right. So that's why I prioritize. I've even added my skills to get it up to closer to 100 in the skills. You'll see I put some putt path ones on. The putt weight, I'm not too worried about, guys. My thinking behind the putt weight is I've just learned where to pull the marker in or out to based on what I consistently hit. I consistently hit a grey fast putt, for want of a better word. I never really get the white. It's always harder. It's never under hit. It's always harder. I always release after the buzz pretty much. So I don't really need the putt weight because I'm happy with my weight. I've adjusted my putt to it, and I know how much the breaks will take based on the weight I consistently hit my putter. So what I will say to you guys is, once you get a putter you're happy with, learn the weight, learn how to do it. I'm going to do a full in-depth putt video when I talk about this in a bit more detail, but just learn what you consistently hit and adjust your breaks accordingly, as opposed to fiddling around in the fittings and trying to sort something out. I think the path is much more important for me, so it doesn't veer off path too much, and the weight I can factor out myself. But there we go, guys. That is my what's in the bag. That is my setup. It's all pretty standard, I think. I don't think it's a massive jump, but I think if you can minimize the gaps between your clubs, if you can have a setup that suits your style of play, if you like to blast it, then get all the power stuff and just blast away and you won't need the short game. I like to do pretty much quite a lot of layups and approach shots in. I don't like partial shots, so I have all my swing timing and everything set up for that. And that's that. There we go. So as I say, guys, leave a comment, leave any questions you want, let me know if there's anything else you want me to answer. Happy to do these videos whenever I can. Hopefully that one helps a few of you out, and I will catch you all soon.